Hey guys, welcome to a market update from TGL. We're coming to June 2022, so treat this as a half-yearly market update. And what an interesting year we've had so far. Inflation, recession, stagflation, conflict, food shortage, you name it, we've had it so far this year, and it will continue to be a massive challenge for the global community. Australia, the land down under, massive land, 25 million people, so small population. Our central banks or Reserve Bank has risen interest rates. Whilst I can probably see why it was necessary for them to pull that lever, this inflation that we currently experience in Australia would have resolved itself on its own without any influence or touching or lever pulling by our Reserve Bank. But they've gone and done it, right? But what that's going to cause now is that, stock market essentially has dived. Crypto markets, if you're into that, that's dived at the moment. I'm sure all of these will come back, but how much lower can it go? That is still yet uncertain. Why? Because people are afraid, right? As soon as interest rate up, people don't spend. Consumer confidence is going to take a hit. So with all of that, I fear that tougher times are ahead. The major financial institutions, they're no longer looking at the inflation, but inflation as something that's already happened or happening, but they're really already positioning themselves for this potential recession, if not impending recession. Where I fear is that if not managed correctly, we're going to get stagflation. If you're an Australian importer or exporter, what can you expect? Well, ocean freight pricing is tapering off, right? Out of Asia and what have you. We've come off the historical peaks now by about, I would say, 30 to 35% of the historical peaks. I would expect that current pricing levels will remain consistent until the rest of the year. We might get a slight bump towards the end of the year, purely due to increased demand in traditional Christmas period. But again, whether there's going to be any real demand will depend on how Australia, along with the global community, treat the current inflation recession battle or the conundrum. Okay, so it is going to be a very interesting year, and I don't think anyone in this world, doesn't matter what profession they come from, be a politician or be a big stockbroker or a logistics guy, really had the confidence of saying, yeah, this is going to happen. No one knows, because there's just so many players and so many variables, and not any one player or variable can control the other. For Australia, a lot of our imports, just like the rest of the world again, deals with China, and let's not focus on Europe and USA, because China is Australia's largest trading market. I don't see there to be too many disruption coming out of China for Australia, even with Shanghai lockdown. Well, Shanghai was never the largest port for export coming into Australia, right? Ningbo, that's the main port, as well as the southern ports of Shenzhen, Guangzhou. Those are the main regions. And so far there is no lockdown. Oh, let's hope there's no lockdown in those ports, because if there's lockdown in those ports, then we're going to have some dire straits. You're going to get growth in costs of supply chain simply due to things not moving and things are trickling through, yet demand has dropped. The growth as an economy is flatlining, if not start going to recessionary trends, but yet the supply chain costs are still high. So what you got there is a perfect recipe for stagflation, and that's going to be the worst case scenario in my view. If you're in Australia, speak to your freight forwarder, get the latest updating rates. Don't expect rates being updated every 2-3 months or even every month. You probably want to get it updated every 2 weeks. Shipping rates, especially full container rates, is a good key economic indicator on how the market which you are in is currently doing, right? If it goes up, it tells you that your market is doing all right. If it starts going down, you go, okay, things are a bit quieter now. Okay, very simple metric, but it's a powerful one. And if you're an exporter, well, yeah, Australia's been on a warpath with China for some time, and China was a massive export market for us. Wine, food, health products, all of that essentially has taken a flogging If you want to know more about this area and what have you, and you want to understand more what's going to happen between Australia and China and maybe even the rest of the world, just come and speak to us. We will have one of our lovely folks here to really guide you through specifically what the conditions of the market will be, relevant to you and your business and your suppliers, depending where they are. So I will wrap up here, and hopefully on our next update, I have some rosier or better circumstances that I can speak of with you. Thank you so much for your time.